Hello everyone, thank you once again for joining us in the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. Now over the past 2 or 3 videos we were looking at an article created by Nikola Talent, investigative journalist in the Sunday World. Front page and a number of photographs and a small bit of text there from Miss Talent. Now we have scrutinised the text, we've shown the inaccuracies, lies and total what we said is pathetic journalism, where a journalist supposedly of a high standard in a national newspaper gets simple facts and details wrong. And I will say once again, and Aaron's campaign and our family will say once again, when we see gutter journalism like this, clickbait journalism like this, with simple facts and details that are incorrect, it is showing total disrespect for a member of an Garda Síochána, Adrian Donoghue, who lost his life at Lordship Credit Union. And it is as simple as that, and it shows a willingness by a reporter and a national newspaper just to put a whole lot of photographs into a newspaper, create some sort of a story, get beefed up cop killer written into the newspaper. It is clickbait journalism at its worst. So, as I said, we have critiqued this article on our previous videos, but on the 12th of July, at I think around 11 or 12 a.m, Nikola Talent, in association with Sunday World editor Neil Donald, released a podcast, 35-minute podcast, covering the same subject, episode 323, Garda killer Aaron Brady and his fight for freedom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a little taste of that podcast. We'll put the link below this video to, and I ask our followers, please have a look at this podcast, and then as we go through the next 4 or 5 of our videos, campaign videos, we will break this down, because the podcast gives us an opportunity to answer a number of questions put forward, and to once again scrutinise the pathetic state of Irish journalism. So we're just going to have a quick look at I think it's just a minute of probably the introduction into this podcast.
One of those, yes.
You're pretty much nearly there already anyway.
Don't need to get out.
Oh, no.
Anyway, we're going to talk about something much more serious than all that, about Aaron Brady. And of course, we had a story recently, which was more a picture of him. He had an appointment in hospital, and we were able to see him for the first time since he's gone into prison. And Aaron Brady looks to me like the classic jailbird in that he's obviously spending his whole day in the gym.
Yeah.
Looks very bulked up. Yeah. And, amazingly then, the pictures came out in the front. We used them in the paper, I think, and then later online. But very quickly, I was alerted to something I didn't realise existed, but it's a Facebook site, and it's a campaign for Aaron Brady run by his father.
And other members of his family are involved as well.
And it was interestingly thanking me for, well, I wouldn't say it was quite that friendly, but it was sort of pointing out that I had helped with their cause and their campaign, because by pointing out and by using photographs of Aaron Brady, who is standing flanked by prison officers, I had proved their point. They said that he wasn't tall enough to have committed murder.
No. So, I mean, the I think it's called the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign has been going really almost straight away after his sentencing and conviction. It's quite professionally run and certainly very dedicated. Like, sometimes you do get these campaigns and they fall off after a couple of weeks, but it's mostly done through YouTube and Facebook.
So that's Miss Talent and Mr. Donald. That's just the start of the podcast, and again she's referring to the newspaper article, and funny, she did say there was a lot of pictures in it. I think she was critiquing herself and our poor text and article itself, the pictures that showed Aaron's height. And if I just bring up the header here, that's the text that comes with the podcast from CrimeWorld and Nikola Talent. There we go. Killer Aaron Brady is set to appeal his conviction for the capital murder of Garda Adrian Donoghue next October. Now this is the important bit. But in the meantime, an online campaign for his freedom is claiming that he is the victim of a stitch-up. And amongst other inconsistencies, he was not tall enough to kill the tragic Garda. So you can see it there very clearly. It's just amongst other inconsistencies. He was not tall enough to kill the tragic Garda. And it shows a willingness here to just simply brush aside what is hard physical evidence. Now later on in the podcast, herself and Mr. Donald do try to belittle the height of the murderer and the man who shot Detective Garda Donoghue. They do try to do that. But from the very outset, we'll just highlight that line there again for us. And amongst other inconsistencies, he was tall enough to kill the tragic Garda. So when we go through the podcast again, they seem to forget about the other inconsistencies. They don't bother with them. But however, there's a man serving 40 years for a crime he didn't commit, and they're not worried about the inconsistencies. So to set out our stall at the beginning, because this has been the base of Aaron's campaign. Now, it is only, as a very popular barrister in the state would say, it's only a scintilla. It's only part of Aaron's campaign. But it is the base of the campaign. It is the moment Garda Adrian Donoghue lost his life. And the man who took Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue's life was 6'1" or 6'2" tall. And there is no doubt about how that evidence was gathered. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a very quick look at the animated clip we got prepared to highlight this very point. So we're going to roll that there now, and then we'll come back and I'll have a quick word before we move on and get ready to create more videos to have a look at Nikola Talent and Neil Donald's work. So here's the animated clip we have created.
Two of the raiders were armed, one with a shotgun and the other with a handgun. They ran straight towards the unmarked Garda car.
Detective Garda Joe Ryan was seated in the driver's seat of the unmarked Garda car. The two raiders approached from Detective Ryan's right-hand side. Detective Ryan said, "Then I heard a bang to my right. It wasn't a shot. This drew my attention and I looked out of the driver's window." As Detective Ryan looked at both raiders, his description was as follows. The raider with the shotgun was 6 foot, 6 foot 1 inch. The raider with the handgun was 5 foot 6 inches, 5 foot 7 inches tall. At this time, Detective Ryan was unaware his colleague Detective Adrian Donoghue had been fatally wounded. Detective Ryan said, "I had no view of Adrian as I looked to my right. The CCTV footage from the credit union is poor quality and grainy, but it shows clearly the substantial height difference in the two raiders who attacked the Garda car." Detective Joe Ryan describes Raider 1 with the shotgun as 6 foot to 6 foot 1 inch tall. The identification is verified by Mary, senior credit union worker. She said, "He looked like an athletic fella. He was tall enough." Neither of these statements describe Aaron Brady. Aaron Brady is 5 foot 6 inches tall. If Aaron Brady was the killer with the shotgun, then it would logically follow the second raider with the handgun would be only 4 foot 11 inches to 5 feet tall. A detective of Joe Ryan's 23-year experience would, without any doubt, have had the training to and the skill to process this vital information. Literally a dwarf with a handgun. The evidence is clear. The evidence is overwhelming. Aaron Brady cannot be the man who shot and murdered Detective Adrian Donoghue. Aaron Brady is not the man who shot and murdered Detective Adrian Donoghue.
So I think those pictures paint several thousand words. Nothing of what we have said in that clip, nothing that has been shown in that clip has been contradicted. And indeed, I will reiterate once again, Detective Joe Ryan came back to Ireland in February this year and confirmed on the oath in another trial ongoing, that was ongoing in February this year. Joe Ryan told us that the man who shot his colleague and shot his friend was over 6 foot tall. So let there be no ambiguity about our starting point as we critique Nikola Talent's CrimeWorld podcast. I will put the link to the CrimeWorld podcast directly underneath here, and I would ask you to please, our followers, have a look at it, have a look at the demeanour of both reporters, and I think those of you who are following our campaign will be aware of the attempts by these people to either belittle evidence and try and big up the work of An Garda Síochána, I suppose is the best way to explain it. So I'll put the link to CrimeWorld Nikola Talent episode 323 below. Please have a look at it. Once again, thank you for watching. We will create a number of videos and analyse this podcast, because it does throw out a number of very good questions, and it gives us another opportunity to look at the state of our mainstream media, which is probably very pertinent at this moment in time when we see some of the shenanigans that's going on in our national broadcaster RTE. So thank you for watching. I will ask you again, please continue to like, comment and share. I know a number of you are doing that, but we are being seriously shadow banned at the moment, because there's a number of incidents happening because of this podcast. I just want to critique it, but there have been a number of developments in respect of some of the people who were living in America and give false statements against Aaron. But we'll put all that together hopefully in the next week or so, and we'll bring that to you then. But I just want to keep on top of this attempt by the mainstream media and An Garda Síochána to create and paint a false narrative. So once again, please like, comment and share. And we'll see you very shortly in the next video. Once again, thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.